Okay, so we're back and we've give this a spray with the Dungeons and what's it called? Dungeons and Subterrane spray. As you can see, this is not pure black, which I was actually expecting, but it's not. And it's gone on really nicely. There's no sign of any what's the word I'm looking for? There's no sign of any melting or anything. So the foam safe spray works wonderfully for priming XPS foam. Nice, just what we want when we're buying, when you're getting spray. Oops, excuse me, just need to get a tissue from the floor for the next step. So yes, the XPS foam safe spray paint is wonderful. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You're able to spray foam and absolutely no sign of melting. Really happy with that. So, not quite fully dried yet, but to be honest, that doesn't matter, because the next step we're doing is filling in this part here with some hot glue. So we're just going to, that's where we are at the moment. I can't do any more because I think the glue is coming to an end. Well, I can't do much more, let's put it that way. So the glue's coming to an end, but we'll get there eventually. As I say, what I can't do here now, I'll do off camera. But I just want to show you how I want to make this look slightly different. There we go. I think that's about it. That's all I can do. We are running incredibly short on this stuff. Yep, there we go. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to have to unplug it because there's no off switch. And I'll pop it over here to dry. Okay, so you can see how we're going with this. As I say, I'm not really too fussed about colour and bubbles in it, because I will be going over with the paint afterwards when it's all done. At the moment, I just want to get this outlining stuff done, but I wanted to show you how I'm doing the inside. Let's plug the hot glue gun back in and we can try and finish off this process. How's this looking for making a start? Okay, we're making a start, so it's all coming out. Just trying to get into all the edges, making it look as natural as possible. Okay, so I'm looking now where there's any of these spiderweb lines, trying to get rid of them. There we are. Okay, so I'm just going to once again unplug this. Because it's not safe keeping something like this plugged in. Okay, so let's get this shaken up once again, in the hope that we do get paint rather than medium this time. Okay, so where did I put the paper towel? Here it is. Hopefully this time it works how I want it to. some paint on the brush, wipe it off. So that is the first stage done. Now, I'm not going to be washing out my brush for these stages because I don't really need them. So I'm going to use cavern highlights this time. Hope you can see that. Before I start, I'm going to add a couple of ball bearings in here. 1, 2. There we are. Couldn't find the spout. So we'll give this a good shake. You need a good strong arm. Or a vortex mixer. Or preferably both. So let's dab on here. And just make little circular movements. Again, we're not trying to go over everything, we're just trying to highlight the basically the edges. If you catch anything under, then don't worry, we are going to be coming over and painting that at a later stage. So that's that. Let's get some more on just to brighten certain parts up. We can leave some dull, we can leave some bright. There is nothing that is right or wrong with this. It's your terrain piece, and if you're happy with it, like any models, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. And again, I'm looking at this from the viewpoint of exactly what I am, a beginner at terrain making. I've not done, as I've said before, I've not done anything like this before, and this is why I wanted to give it a try. And thank you, Emmy Painter, for giving me the opportunity to try something new. Again, this was all sent to me free of charge by the Emmy Painter. You've seen the unboxing, so you should know that. Already, and I'm happy with that, the way it's looking. So we'll wipe off this brush. Again, I'm not washing the brush out as yet. I will do that when it's all finished, because as I say, I forgot to bring water in with me. And now we want cavern effects, which is that one. And again, it's shaky painty time. So we get a couple of balls, drop them in, insert that back, and then I need to spend more time doing it, so I'm not going to show you this paint being painted in this part of the video, obviously, because it's not going to look right, but we will come back to it and cover that section at a later date. I could spend some time off camera trying to make sure that the glue is actually straight, and I may even try and get my hand on some resin and use that. Again, there's no right way or wrong way of doing this. Just put it on until you're happy with it. If you seem to get too much on, you can always feather it out. Leave some areas a little brighter than others. It adds a little bit more texture. And there we are. We'll just try and get the edges slightly highlighted, and that's that bit done. So when it comes down to these stones for a cavern, so we need the dungeon base this time, which is the grey one, and this time we want a nice a good coverage of these stones to make it look rubble. So I'm going to use this brush and cover it for all the sand areas with this, and the final piece is here. And I'm going to try to cover all of it. Now the this palette, I think, is going to come under some great amount of abuse, to be honest, because it's not a wet palette, which is what you should be using with acrylics. It's a dry palette, and especially now when I've forgotten to have water with me, I can't wash it off properly, but hopefully I can get it in time to where the water won't be fine, to where the thing won't be fine. So I'll give that a bit of a dry. As I said, I'm going to have to leave this okay, right, so I've gone over it again. I've added more hot glue. I've put it in spirals. There are some dips and eddies in it, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking at like a rough surface. We'll see how it goes once it's dried properly. So let's get back to shading these rubble areas. Hopefully they are dry enough to use. So we'll just add some of it around the edge. We want to bring it out a bit more than just the rubble itself. Just to make it look as though it belongs. Need a little bit more. Oh, yeah. As I said, this, according to the book, takes about 12 hours to dry. Whether that's right or not, I don't know, but I'm not leaving it to chance. It might be, but I'd sooner I'll check it. I'll keep checking it, see what it is. It may just be the what do you call it? The what's it called? What am I thinking of? You know, the temperature, the environment. That was the word I was looking for. The environment may make it a little quicker to dry. I don't know, but it's quite warm in here, and hopefully it can dry a little quicker than 12 hours. But I'll leave it the 12 hours just to see. That's still warm, so I can't really do anything more there. I think what I might do is go over some of these cracks in the floor with this wash, just to emphasize them a little more. Let's give it another shake and put some more out. I'm not going over everything. There's no real need to do that, I don't think, but I am going to emphasize a few of these cracks, a few of the edges of the stones. In fact, I might do them all, to be honest. It looks as though it could be a good idea. You can, if you so wish, just leave a few bits here with a few scratches. Not scratches, just like smudges. Not actually wiping it off fully. It gives it that more interesting a look. There we go. And there's not much more to do now on this. There we go. I'll let some of it dry, smudge it a little, wipe your brush, smudge your brush over it at some points when you don't have much of the wash on. It just adds that little more interest. And what we can do while we're here, we can get some of our grass tufts. What would have been nice if there was a pair of tweezers in here to be able to apply the tufts, but I just have to do without. Yeah, that will do for that. There's different sizes of tufts here. We're just going to add a few of them. We're not going overboard. Remember, sometimes less is more when it comes down to modelling. I'm looking to where there seems to be big gaps between the stones and adding one there. Like for example, where I've put the toothpicks. I'm just going to squeeze your toothpick into here just to make sure that it's stuck. And the bit where it's stuck is where I want it to be. So yeah, this is where we've got to so far. Before I get going with anything else, warpage issue. Now I don't know whether that's to do with the glue or whether it's something else. I've got a feeling it's the glue. So I think I've messed up. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the back of this in PVA after it's all finished, obviously, and see if that helps. I'll let you know as a later date if it has. I'm not doing it on camera, no point. Anyway, this is where we're up to. So we're going to try and get this finished in this part of the video. Now you may or may not have realised by now. So, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, this may or may not be a single video. Chances are it isn't. We'll have found this out already. But if it isn't, it's because I've shown a lot of what I've been doing. Because I like doing that, because my videos are not aimed for people who know what they're doing. They're aimed for people who are just starting out, who are a little unsure where to start, of, you know, that kind of thing. And again, I'm the same with this. I've not done anything like this before. So I want to try it out and see what it's like. See if I enjoy it. So far, I am doing. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to start off with dungeon highlights and then dungeon effects on top of that. So let's just give this a shake. I forgot to put the balls in these ones. Oh well, let's just see if I can get this done without the balls. It seems okay. And I'm going to use this flat brush. Bit of paint on there. Wipe it off on here, and then we can go in and dry brush over the rubble areas. Get the tops of most of them. There we go. Now I've noticed that there's a couple of areas of white, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with the grass tufts and pop a little bit in there. Tufts hide things. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. Make any sort of, like, if there's anything happens, like there's been a couple of these that have chipped off somehow, you can come back. Where have I put them? There. You can come back in with the tufts. There's a little bit there somehow, and a little bit on that one. So what I'll do is that one there, I'll get a medium one and pop it on. There you go. That's hidden that one. I'll use the dungeon effects first before we go into this any further, and pop a little bit of this on there. Then get some on the brush, wipe it off, and then we'll lightly go over here, and I mean lightly. We don't want to cover every little thing, it's just the bigger stone areas that we're trying to touch with this one. So any of the larger stones will get covered. There we are. That is all we're doing with this. It takes an absolute age to do all this dry brushing malarkey. As you can tell. So that's that done. And now, where we see that there's bits of paint and whatnot missing, we can put in a tuft of the grass. Now, I think I want to put a big one here because I've gone over little bits with the grey and I don't want it all looking grey around there, so I'll do it that way. So there we are. That is the stone areas finished. Now we're getting in with this area, and for this we're using grotto slime. And again, because I didn't use this yesterday, I've not put a blooming I've not put a ball in it. So I'm going to use the big brush to start off with, because I can, basically. And this is not covering incredibly brilliantly. Now I may have to do a few coats of this. I don't know to get it to the stage I want it at. But another thing I want to do is get some of the Brink Black. And again, it's another one that I haven't put a ball in. I'm not putting a great amount out because I don't want a great amount. And I'm going to use this brush to go in the Brink Black and add some into these little holes. And then spread around here and there. Not with breath for that one. And I've just noticed I've caught some of the top of the flag on here. And the flag, the rocks and stones, the pathway with this. So what I'm going to do is what I've done before, as I told you. Grass tufts. Hide a multitude of sins. There we are. So that's how it's looking so far. As I said, I'm going to come back and use a lighter green and dry brush over with that. But that looks positively disgusting. In a good way, I might add. In a good way. But I think that those cracks that I intentionally put in on the surface of these need just a little bit more definition. There we go. And that's that. Now let's just add a couple of little swirls of this in there just to try and... I don't like it. No, I'm going to go back in and cover that. It's acrylics, you can do that. If you don't like something, you can go back and correct it. Oh yeah. Well, there is my first foray into making proper terrain tiles. And I must say, this set, for anybody who has never done this before, I think this set is really brilliant for providing the stuff you need. You get everything within it, obviously except for one or two things. You don't get the batteries for the hot wire cutter, probably because it's been sent through the post, not safe, so I can understand that depending on restrictions in various countries. I don't know. The other thing you don't get is a cutting mat, which if you're getting a knife and the ruler for cutting, you'd have thought a cutting mat would be involved, but there again, they're cheap enough to buy anyway, so that's not a big issue with it. You get some fairly thick sheets of XPS foam, and if you live in a country or maybe somewhere like I do where getting hold of this stuff is not easy, and when you do find someone, you can only find it online, and when you do find it, it's expensive. Yeah, it's a brilliant source of it, and you can buy the XPS foam from them separately as well, which is again handy. You can get booster packs of it. Obviously, the grass tufts you can get as well from the Army Painter, as well as all the paints, the brushes. But just to combine what we have in this set, now I don't know what the other sets in this series are like. I can only go from this one because the first one I've tried. I can only presume that they are of a similar kind of thing, and if so, depending on what you're trying to do, the only thing that separates them is the paints that you get with it. And if you've got your own paints anyway, but you don't have any other terrain building stuff, this will be ideal for making anything you want. And in the next video, or series of videos I'm going to do, I am going to do something that is not Dungeons and Caverns related with this stuff to see how I get on with it. Obviously using different paints, not using all the ones here, but I could do. But as I say, if you're a complete novice and you don't have much on, or well, if you're a complete novice to paint, to terrain making, but you don't, like me, you enjoy your painting, you've got your paints, this set will give you everything you need. If you are an established terrain maker, you know, one of the Wylocks or your terrain shooters and this, that, and the other. If you're one of those kind of people, I don't think this will be good for you. It's the stuff in here you should already have if you've been terrain making for a while. I think this is designed just for the beginner, and if that is the case, then they've done a brilliant job of providing what you need to do it. I am really happy with this. As I say, it's the first terrain piece or terrain town that I've built. Yeah, might have gone over the top with the hot glue, which has caused the warpage. I don't know. I'm hoping that's what it is. I could try something different, or could even redo this, and obviously off camera I could redo this and see how it works. But yeah, really happy with what I've managed to do. The book that you get with it is really helpful. The QR codes to the videos, as you can see down here, you get videos with like QR codes that link to videos on YouTube. Very handy. And I am not disappointed in this box at all. In fact, I'm looking forward to doing more and more with this. it might start off another hobby for me of terrain making. I don't know yet. But as is, I'm just playing about because I've nothing really to use this for. I'm not planning a campaign that would use a tile like this. In fact, I'm not planning a campaign. I'm a player, I'm not a DM. But it is there if somebody needs an acid pool with an exit and an entrance. But yeah, there we are. If I was going to give this a rating out of 5, I would say 4.5. Only loses half a point for the fact that there's no cutting mat in it. Which, as I said, there's a knife in it and there's a ruler in it. That being the case, there should be a cutting mat. But again, on the, you know, they are cheap enough to buy anyway, so it's neither here nor there. But yeah, I am really pleased with the outcome of this. This is not the way it shows you how to do it on the in the book and in the what you call it, on the videos. You literally paint these colours on and give the texture with the black paint, which was something I was trying to do but didn't quite work. But as it stands, I tried something new. The hot glue gun and the hot glue you don't get with this. That's something I decided to bring into it. That's the only thing I've brought into this that wasn't in it already. And as you can see, I mean, it's taken a few days for me to get this done. But if I was to start it, if I could start it and finish it in one run, it takes an hour or two, possibly. But it's there. The rules speak for themselves. So that's it for this video or series of videos. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, the next time I use this, I'm going to be using it for something other than Dungeons and Caverns. I'm going to try a little diorama, and I need some of this XPS foam, and I don't have thick enough pieces for it, so I'm going to be using some out of this box. But I do need to make up something for it first, and that will be this probably in a video very soon to come. And once I've done that, I can use some of the airbrush paints that the Envy painter sent me to paint it all up, and then we can get making the diorama with bits from this set. So it will come in handy very quickly. That's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.